Welcome to The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun. So, that's what I want to do. But hey, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's been 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Because we were busy gals.
You know what? And it wasn't like we went anywhere. We just needed a break.
We did go somewhere.
Where?
We went out to dinner.
Oh, well, yes, of course. We did
And we went to
we did quite a few
Kishwaukee.
things.
And what else did we do? I feel like we did something else, too.
Julie and I went to Aeon Gallery and did some painting.
Oh, yeah.
And sipping and painting, and more sipping than painting.
I had
And then I
graduation
know we went to
parties.
Broad House, and you had a very full.
Yeah.
And then we went to Kishwaukee.
Kishwaukee
Brewery
was
Sunday.
awesome.
That was fun.
I love that
Okay,
place.
so I'm going to say sorry to Dan and his wife because
Why?
I walked right past them and didn't recognize Dan and his hat. And I was just like, wow, these are, and then right behind Dan was our lawyer. So I'm walking into the
Hello,
brewery,
lawyer.
and I'm walking in and 3 people are like, hey, I'm like, wow, this is a really friendly place. And I actually said that to our bestie. I'm like, wow, what a really friendly place
I
here.
didn't
Not realizing that I
recognize-
knew the 3 people.
Yeah, I didn't recognize Dan either.
Yeah.
Until I went to go check out their merch. And I was like, oh, hey. What's going
So
on?
sorry about that all.
Yeah.
I'm an airhead, though.
I chit-chatted with them for a little bit.
So we've been busy. We needed
Yes.
that week off. Like we tell everybody, take your vacation, take your time
your
off.
mental
We
day.
did that. It feels good, and we're ready. We got a great episode today. But I would like to start off with a funny retail story because when we were out on Sunday, we asked Beth's bestie, what do you want to hear? And she said, I would like to hear more of your retail stories. Like go back to that. So I have a very good one from last week when I shopped as a customer.
Oh.
So I was in Crystal Lake shopping. And I went up to the cashier and I saw that the belt was wet with who knows what. You never know what it is.
From chicken.
Yeah, juice, chicken, water, milk, whatever it was. So I knew that the belt kept moving. So I set a couple things down so that the belt would stop.
Yeah.
And then I gave it like 2 feet because it was all wet and then put the rest of my groceries. Do you know this cashier looked at me with the most bitchiest face, held the items that I had put there and then slid it
Ew.
through all the whatever it was. And I looked right at her and I said, there was stuff on the belt. You just ran it through my food. And I was not happy. I was not happy, but I think it was because of her like attitude from the start. Like I immediately felt like I was being attacked. And I'm like, now do I need to go shop for more? Or can you tell me what was on your belt? I was a Karen. I absolutely was. But once again, I'm that kind of person that like poke the bear. You know what I mean? And that was her approach. And so she was like,
oh, let me clean that.
yeah. So first you didn't know if I had 2 orders, which I didn't say that out loud, but I'm laughing because, she looked at me and she goes, do you have a loyalty number to put in? Like she didn't give a shit what she did. I'm like, can I have a paper towel?
She was over it.
She is over it. And you know what? After I was like kind of bitchy to her bitchiness and we kind of leveled up on bitchiness, I was like, you know what? Let's just be nice here. Who knows what kind of day she had. And hopefully I don't get sick from salmonella. So there we go. And I didn't.
She's like, here's your fresh broccoli through this chicken juice.
And it was, well, actually I put a couple bottles down so they were okay. But there was something else, cherries, I think. And I was just like,
those are fucking expensive. Don't you ruin my cherries.
And I could have been terrible and I could have been like, you know what, put it all back. I'll go shopping again. But I didn't. I was just like, well, I'll just take my chance. But you know what? A lot of people wouldn't. They wouldn't have.
Especially
in our
not since
experience
COVID.
as cashiers or customer service, we would not. If I would have done that to somebody, especially where we used to work, oh, forget it. I would have had my ass
It's one
handed
thing
to
if
me.
she was like, oh my God, I didn't see that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let me get paper towels and wipe this. Do you want me to get somebody to get you
Just-
a new item?
yeah.
Or blah, blah, blah.
And honestly, I don't care what kind of day you're having. You're getting somewhat paid. I won't say paid.
Slave wages.
So, I mean, I get it. I get both sides because I was there, but I'm just like, come on, work with me here. So, and then I got one more story.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I was being basic this morning, and Julia and I went to Starbucks. And of course, we go tanning in Starbucks, and don't tell my dermatologist. And so we're in line, and they're having construction. There's a lot of construction going on. It
So
merges
much.
down to one lane. It takes forever. It's wrapped around
season.
everywhere. Yeah. It's ridiculous, actually. So, of course, the person in front of us is no longer waiting for her drink and is complaining about the construction and talking to the person, and we're sitting there waiting and we're waiting. I have to get back to a meeting, and I can hear them, you know. So I didn't realize I had my window down, and Julia started dying laughing. I'm like, yeah, let's bitch about the construction. Keep it moving. And Julia's like, your window's down. I'm like, even louder. Keep it moving.
It's a drive-through. Drive through
it. I just wonder how many people sit there and they're like, and they're complaining, right? Can you imagine where we used to work? Because it's in front of where we used to work.
Yes.
So everyone has that. Whenever there was a change,
it's
within a mile radius or two.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
People had to complain, talk about it.
Yes.
Oh, how about that construction out there?
Yes.
It was like every single person that came through
Didn't
your
ring
lane.
up. Must be free.
But
the
once
dad jokes
again,
never end.
I said this in November, and I'll say it again. Do you know what makes everything better?
Starbucks.
Cheesecake.
Oh,
You're wrong.
Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Katie's back.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
You were wrong on that one.
I
You
was
were right
wrong.
the first time, but
You
you
were
were
right
wrong.
the first time.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to your episode this morning on my run because I just wanted to remember what we talked about and just remember the jokes we had and how
gonna
your
say, and
business was
laugh.
going and laugh. Oh man, I was laughing. I know cars were passing me going, what is she laughing about? She's like the happiest runner ever as I'm going up a hill, you know?
Did you have her Clopen shirt on so they knew?
And, no, I didn't. I should. I really should.
You really should.
I should be a moving advertisement
I was gonna
every
say
morning.
a running billboard
Yeah,
on the
no
side of the
kidding.
road.
Probably get some sweatpants with it on your butt. too.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if they look at that. Sometimes I think I get beeps.
I'm sure they do.
So sometimes I think I get beeps and then I go to turn around. They're like, oh shit, she's old.
Stop it.
It don't matter
She's
if you're
lying
old.
to herself right now.
You can still be hot. You can be old and hot. That's what a MILF is.
You know what? I'm doing it. I am owning that today.
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
But hi, how's
Hello.
it going?
It is going great now.
I hear you have a lot to talk about, and I am very excited
do.
about this.
It's been quite a wild ride since the last
Riled
time.
ride.
Yeah.
Riled ride.
I'm a little dyslexic, so sometimes, you know.
So when we met you last year, you had the health department at your house.
Yes.
Right.
And then you
Yes.
decided you were going to go work at a bakery, and that turned out good. And now?
Now, not so good. Things have changed since then.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually not at that bakery anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I am focusing on relocating.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be working out of Fox Lake now. But
Oh, very good.
yeah,
It's
a lot
close.
had happened at that bakery.
Still doing cheesecakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't let that.
good,
People won't let
good.
me let that go.
And Pop-Tarts.
And oh yeah, and I have expanded. I have
Yes.
expanded because since I've gone out on my own, I've realized that, you know, if I want to be a catering business, I got to kind of add a little bit more. So I'm going to focus on catering for special events for like weddings
Excellent.
and such. So yeah, like brownies, mini hand pies, the Pop-Ums.
Yeah.
I can't technically call
Oh.
them Pop-Tarts.
Sorry.
Oh, Pop-Ums. Okay.
Pop-Ums.
Yeah.
But they kind of look like that.
They're
Are
little
they-
handheld.
Why don't you call them
Okay.
Tart Pops?
Right. And I did sit on that for a while
Did
to
ya?
try to come up with like
Yeah.
so
Or
people
put Pop-Tarts
knew.
with a Z.
Yeah.
Oh.
And see, you can't stick
That's
these in the
sneaky.
in the toaster either.
Oh, sure.
You
So
know,
they
you're
gotta
supposed
be
to
like-
eat them.
They
how
gotta
they
be
are.
like,
Okay.
we're gonna come up with a clever name.
A clever. See, you know, I sat on it for quite a long time to be like, what do I call this? But yeah, I got different flavors of that, brownies. You know, the typical things that you'd want to see at a wedding dessert table that you don't necessarily get to try.
And you know, a lot
Before
of
your wedding.
people are going non-traditional
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
having like
Yes.
a dessert table
Yeah.
instead of just the cake,
Yeah.
or they'll have both.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think all of it's great.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love sweets. So whether you have a, 5-tiered cake
Yeah.
or something with
I
a
don't
waterfall
want-
in it or
yeah.
cheesecake
Yep.
or
I don't
And then
want.
you,
I don't
I-
want one piece of cake. I want a bunch of finger foods.
Absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
and that's what a lot of people like Meredith said are
Yeah.
starting to go towards. So
Yeah.
either they can have their own cutting cake and then have a
Yeah.
nice dessert table, which I do specialize, like we know, in cheesecake.
Yeah.
So I do trifle jars, which is layered cheesecake with other toppings. And then I do these mini bites that I've been having fun with, especially the little heart-shaped
Yeah.
ones that I
Oh,
came out with
wow.
recently. Yes. So
Very
for like
good.
wedding showers and stuff, I've been doing a lot of that.
And when you first came down here, you said you're Katie's Cheesecakes LLC now. You're
I am.
limited. Okay.
I am.
Amazing.
I
Congratulations.
have upgraded to an LLC.
Very
Since
good.
then, I've also gotten my I've always had my serve safe food handlers.
Yeah.
I was a server bartender like we discussed last time for like 18, 19 years. So I've always had just the regular food handlers, and now I have the managers, so I could manage my own food establishment at any
and you
point
can
in time.
hire.
So
yes. Very good.
So
very good.
that's too awesome. The best part is people will be able to pick up too. Because I've been mainly, for the
you've
past
been doing the
couple
delivery
months,
and
I've
such,
been doing
right?
delivery.
Wow,
and
yeah. Now you can just say, please pick up here, right?
Right. So, but yeah, a lot happened.
Tell us all about it.
So, I unfortunately had to fight unemployment.
Oh.
And
so you got fired
I
from
got
the bakery.
fired from the bakery.
We're very interested in this unemployment
drum
story.
roll in February. I don't know if you remember this timeline, but when the health department came to my house, when I started doing this out of my house, it was what? Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then a couple weeks later, I got hired at this place that was willing to let me not only use their kitchen and make my stuff, but they actually hired me as an employee as well.
Okay.
So that was awesome. But then
until
it wasn't.
Yeah, we get it.
Until it really wasn't. So in February, actually the day after Valentine's Day, I got called in on my day off and was told simply that I don't think this is working anymore. I hope you understand.
Yeah. And it wasn't quite a year then.
Exactly.
Like it was
almost exactly
almost
within a
like
week
close.
or two
Okay.
of me being an employee for a year. So,
they had
that
found
gets
someone
a little
else.
hairy too, I wonder.
They had found someone else, or they just didn't want you, or they're going to do their own thing.
There was a lot of, and I would like to say that it's speculation at this point because I don't know the truth behind it.
Darn.
But
I feel like a lot of times that happens.
Yeah.
There was somebody hired 2 weeks before, or, short of a month before I was let go.
Okay.
And she specialized in cake decorating.
Okay.
And again, this was more of a cake bakery. They specialized in wedding cakes and cupcakes and sugar cookies.
Sure.
And that's what they were known for. So, there was a little bit of speculation in my mind of that too. Like, okay, well, she is obviously more of an asset to the company.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't decorate cakes.
Sure.
So one thing is, I won't be doing cakes or cupcakes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you have your specialty. Why change it?
I'm not good at decorating, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Like,
but you can decorate a cheesecake.
Right.
That's your specialty.
Right.
So
there's that. So then she called me in on my day off and just basically said it wasn't working anymore. And I hope that you understand. And I'm a little bit of a standoff person. I don't really like confrontation. I don't really like asking questions when I suddenly feel uncomfortable. I'm also, I think, a little bit like I could tell something was coming.
Okay.
Like,
I was
she's
just going to
never-
ask if that month of the new person being there, if you just had a weird instinct.
I did have a weird instinct. Things changed around the workplace, especially with, I guess, feelings of communication.
What are you doing with your prison shoe over here?
Well, and I was going to laugh because I was going to make a comment that we keep playing footsie under the table. Not even meaning to, but we keep making this eye contact. Like
flip flops on, and I see Cash. She keeps looking at him, so I took one off and acted like I was going to put the volume up with one.
Can you not touch me with your prison shoes, please?
And I think I've crossed my legs a couple times, and I've kicked Katie during her whole conversation here. So
and
sorry
I
to
keep
interrupt.
doing the same though. So apparently we like to cross and uncross and just kind of cross toe.
I'm usually the one that's like bouncing legs, clicking pens.
Yeah, no,
I'm a little hyper today. I don't know why.
Terrible.
Okay, so you kind of felt like that because I know I had a couple other jobs where they would be like, we're hiring this person. They're kind of like, I don't want to call them a floater, but they're like, they're going to learn everybody's job, around the, and then all of a sudden you're like, who are they? Yeah, who are they replacing?
And suddenly I noticed my jobs being done by other people.
Yeah.
Stuff that I had been doing for almost a year. And it took me a while, I think, in this process to realize that was happening.
Did you start mentally preparing, like, okay, what's next now? This must be another, not at all. You just kind of thought,
I was
all right,
totally surprised.
you
to
were.
be honest.
Okay.
I had a weird feeling, but I didn't like the day when she texted me and said, like, you know, can we come in and have a chat?
Then maybe you just kind of knew. Yeah.
I had that dark, like,
That's terrible.
It gives you a stomach ache.
Yeah.
It just gave me a
oh,
stomach
and you
ache.
know me, like,
ugh.
I'm a very anxious person.
Yeah.
So I was
feel
like sweating.
Many of us maybe have been there where you
Yeah.
just kind of get called. And, you know, actually,
By
this
your-
brings
yeah,
up
you
a
get
good.
called in by your boss and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, the dread.
Yeah.
Actually, our favorite store director, I was like a floater where we worked, and I had shoulder surgery, and he called and left a message while I was sleeping, and he said, hey, just give me a call when you get a chance. I know it wasn't a checkup call. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like how you were doing. It was like kind of like 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks into me being at home for 12 weeks. And as soon as I answered, he's like, hey, how's it going? I just want to
you're
tell
like,
you something. And
"Fuck."
I'm like, oh my God. He said, they eliminated your position. And I'm
I've
just
gotten
like,
that. Ooh.
well, and right away I was just like, you can't fire me. I'm home
gotten-
on, you know, like I'm home. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be home. And he was like, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to let you decide this one or this. It was like 2 different other positions
Yeah.
they were going to put me in. But I was just like, I can't even imagine like getting
Yeah.
that text saying, hey, come on in, even though you're not supposed to be
Somehow I
working,
was
you know?
like, you were probably able to tell in like the tone of voice. Like
Yeah.
there was something about like the way he said it in
You
the
can
message.
always tell.
You can tell.
I can tell when my mom
Somehow,
calls me and
with
it's
her
bad news,
words,
Right.
you
I
know?
was
Right.
able to tell.
Yeah.
That I was like, ooh.
So you get
This
there,
is
she
not
tells you the
good.
bad news, and then what?
It was over quickly, and I'm just like, okay. As any employee who randomly loses their job, whether it be, you know, I was a server, whether it be let go or laid off, I should say, due to COVID.
yeah.
Because
Yeah, right. That's what happened.
that's the last time I was ever on unemployment, was basically because I had no other choice.
Right,
I
right.
was a server bartender for 18 years. Where do you think I'm
Right.
going to
Yeah,
go?
everybody was
You know?
closed. Yeah.
Everywhere was closed. So yeah, I filed for unemployment
Okay.
like any other. Not only did I lose my full-time job, I mean, I was working there over 30 hours a week.
Wow.
So I was, or over 32. So I was technically a full-time employee. There was a lot of times I put in overtime work, like off the clock. I went to go pick up stuff. Like I would go in and I would do work technically while I was baking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you
so
like
if,
to
like,
stay
the-
busy.
Right. Well, I'm not going to leave it there. Like if the GFS order got dropped off while I was there, I'm going to put it away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make, you know, I'm already there.
You're
So-
right,
But
right.
that's still work well off the clock.
Yeah.
So I was very willing and always ready. So I applied for unemployment. I start getting the notices. I have them all.
She brought them with.
There's a
Prepared.
lot.
Yeah, you do have a stack of
This is
paperwork
a
there.
teaching episode,
They-
folks.
Yes, because that was a fun, not so fun ride.
Yeah.
You know when you're a kid and you get in line for a roller coaster and you get yourself all hyped up and then you get to the end of the line, you're like,
Nope.
I'm going to
Fuck
poop
this.
my pants.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing it.
Usually I feel like I'm going to pee my pants because you have to
Yeah.
wait 2 hours in
Yeah,
line.
that too.
I'm like, great, I'm going to
they
piss
should
my
start,
pants on
they
this
should
ride.
start putting porta potties
They
at the end
should.
of those lines. But so then I finally get this letter
So what
of
was
denial
Yeah, it just denied you.
Oh.
in the mail.
And you're
And I'm
thinking
like-
this is a done deal. You don't have a job.
Right.
Let's just go on and then try to
Right.
do something else. Okay.
Right. Especially for, you know, I won't get too in depth with the situation, but for the situation that it was and the relationship that I had with this person,
You were
I
just
had
surprised.
no question at all that my claim would get denied or why it would.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, I get this letter of denial in the mail, basically stating misconduct,
Oh.
which to me, was like,
Are you not telling us
wait a
that you
minute.
beat her up after the conversation?
Yeah, yeah. Or, you know,
Please don't do that,
stole-
everyone. Please
or
don't do that.
Stole something.
Right, right.
You know,
I guess
There's-
misconduct could be just
it
about
could be
anything, right?
anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's pretty general.
That's
Yeah.
actually the funny part is I have here the definition of misconduct because they give it to you. And they also write in the letter what the other person says
Oh,
that
nice.
happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's misconduct? She's looking through all her
I
paperwork.
know. Again, there's a lot. And I thought I had it organized by the time I got here, but no. Falsification of an employment application, failure to maintain license or registration, knowing repeated violation of the attendance policy of the employer, consuming alcohol, damage of property, refusal to obey employers as reasonable, lawful instruction, stealing, like they're false.
It just goes on, huh?
It just goes on. Like you
So
said.
what did she say?
She said that I caused loss of profit.
Oh, that's part of misconduct?
No.
Oh.
And that's, I mean, yes.
Oh, it
but
falls under.
you have to, yes, loss of profit, but it has to be proved that it was malice, that it was done on purpose.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
So loss of profit,
Okay.
like what we were talking about earlier, stealing,
Yeah.
Right, right.
purposely wasting product,
Sure.
I guess, in, a bakery setting.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to go
Interesting.
into the Valentine's Day, I guess it would make more sense if I explained my
Absolutely.
side of the situation.
Yeah, please do.
So the instance that I guess supposedly was the reason for my termination, but didn't come up until I got this letter basically saying why. I dropped a cake in the case.
Oh.
Like it tipped over inside the glass case.
Oh, no.
So the only thing that was ruined though was the frosting.
Mm-hmm. It didn't hit the floor.
It did not hit the floor. But I was the only one in the front. So that story got flipped into I dropped a cake on the floor and caused a loss of profit. Because I did, and I was actually very upset about this. The cake board, I don't know if it buckled. Like something happened. I don't know.
What were you doing
it
at
was
the
a
time?
mistake. I was trying to pull it out of the case.
Like to show somebody.
Somebody
or-
was going to purchase it. And actually, he even offered to still buy it as a joke. It was Valentine's Day. No, he thought it was hilarious. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm going to buy this cake and give my cake,
Yeah.
my
Yeah, which
wife
of course you would
a
never do that. but-
destroyed cake as a joke. Like, she'll think it's
Yeah.
funny. But I was like, let me go talk to my boss
Yeah.
and, show her what happened. And I don't know if it was because of how busy they were busy. It was Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Or if she did understand what I said, like I tipped this over in the case, but she deemed it unsellable, threw it away. And then the next morning I get a text message to come in.
Okay.
She's tried to say, and I had to go all the way to the appeal hearing because again, my unemployment got denied. So I had to go through an appeal hearing and I had to write a whole letter saying why I didn't feel that I fell under the label of misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
People make human mistakes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Everybody's
Do you
human.
find that to be a big mistake at a
No.
bakery? No.
Especially if it was just the frosting that was fucked up.
And
She could have scraped it off and refrosted it and threw it back in the case.
I have a
and nobody
friend
would have
that
been the
just
wiser.
sent a
Thank
Snapchat
you.
and it's like a throwaway bowl of and she said something like, when the customer isn't happy, you scrape it and start over.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it was
I mean, she still has her job.
it wasn't
know.
a cake that was necessarily ordered,
right.
and was
I could
being
see if it
picked
was
up.
a custom order, how she would be upset about it, but still, you
Right.
didn't do it on
I'm-
purpose.
Exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
denying the frustration of the situation,
Right.
but I'm trying to, exactly, point out
Right.
the fact that I didn't purposely, maliciously cause
Right.
loss of profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not like you picked it
So-
up out of the case, threw it on the floor, and said, "Go fuck yourself."
Right. So it definitely caught me off guard.
And then
then
you never dropped a cake before.
No,
Yeah.
no, dropped. I have maybe put boxing it. I think the most I've ever done was maybe put
A finger.
Finger.
Fingered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then she has to smooth it out.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure every baker has mistakenly
Right.
put their finger
yeah.
into a cake while they're putting it into a box.
Right.
Can I just mention how many times the cake decorators would do beautiful work and the customer would walk outside and it would slip off the board
Oh,
or
yeah.
out
My
of
God.
into the
There was
parking
actually
lot.
a lot of times where we would be nervous.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
watching customers leave. Like we tell them
Yeah.
everything
It almost
we
happened to
possibly
me.
can.
We had a huge party. Julia was graduating. Stephen was turning 16. Julia was turning 18. We had this huge party. I had a full sheet. I had it on top of the cart and I just thought, oh, I got this. And I went to go put it in my trunk and started feeling it slip and had to kind of like boom, boom, like into.
God.
So the whole one side was like,
Bumped.
Smushed
yeah,
against
like
the side of
the
the
top and the bottom, they weren't taped. And it was kind of like, it just kind of like kept going. And I was like, oh my God. God. So we just put the back of the cake like towards the wall, you know, but
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fine.
I could have easily went back in and been like, thanks for not packaging this right,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
right.
blah, you know, but I didn't because I
That's
did it
also
myself.
how you find which side is the front sometimes. Oh, put the cake
Which
topper
side looks
here,
better?
please.
Oh, man.
Try not to
Oh,
look at the
well,
back.
sorry to hear that.
But, you know, mistakes do happen,
Sure.
and I'm not, sour about that. But
So then when did
So let's
your
go. Yeah, go ahead.
when did your unemployment finally go through?
Yeah,
Because-
tell
I
us
had
about
to
your
go to
struggle.
The hearing. Yes, the hearing is the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And that's when a little bit more, I guess, started to come. Yeah.
No pun
But,
intended.
I didn't even. Wow.
Welcome to the Cheesy Podcast
Right.
with Katie
I mean,
Cheesecake.
I am
Yeah,
Katie the
joke
Cheesecake Lady, so
podcast.
apparently I've got to be really cheesy. I really went in depth into that definition that they literally mail you
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
back. So it kind of gave me ammunition to
Sure.
be like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't drop anything. I never received the most important part, I guess, coming from a management standpoint. I never received any warnings.
I was just gonna say, any written warnings?
Right.
No.
Right.
So verbal warnings?
And that's where things were getting a little
Sure.
fishy
Sure.
because I'm like, well, wait a minute. If these were seriously problems,
Yeah.
and if you really feel that I was causing a loss of profit or,
Yeah.
anything that was harming your business due to X, Y, and Z, explain that to me, or at least give me some kind of guidance and managerial oversight.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've taken my manager, so now I know the terms.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get managerial
It's almost like she
oversight.
took a class or something.
Yeah, right.
I'm smarter now. But I didn't, and that actually helped me though too, because I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't receive any of this.
Yeah.
No sit down talks.
Oh, and
Even
that's
if-
in there. That's all like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I never received verbal warning. But see, if you know these certain things and know what to say
Right.
in order to defend yourself, if it's true. I won.
Anything like that. So if
The
people are
judge was
listening
like,
and they're
"What?"
going through that right now,
Because you guys had to do 3-way call, right?
Yes.
And she kept ignoring it, right?
She did. So originally I thought I was going to get unemployment because she was ignoring the letters from unemployment. So I started expanding on my business, and I made a post, say around, St. Patrick's Day. And they saw something that was in this said box, and I got accused of stealing. I actually could have used that as defamation, but
Yeah.
I got accused and texted saying that I was stealing recipes, actually,
oh,
from an employee. So not even the manager, but from an employee that works there. So that added to it too. That's when I got the denial notice a week later.
What a
saying
mess.
your unemployment is being denied. And I'm like,
okay. So if people are listening
Mm-hmm.
and they have a similar situation, they know that they're, probably didn't do anything too crazy, but they were let go.
yeah.
What kind of homework do they need to do?
They need to definitely read every single word that you get. Don't ignore these forms, and you really need to read them, because the back especially is what gives you the information that you need in order to defend yourself. Especially like you said, if you do feel blindsided and you don't think that there's a justifiable case for your denial, it will send you, again, you can even look it up on Google, because I was not wanting to rifle through papers, and it'll give you the whole Illinois definition of what they consider misconduct, and actually take the time to go through and match up what you think happened. Because I guess that's what's important. Just talk about what you think is the reason why you
facts.
got let go.
Stay
Right, the
with the
facts
facts.
that you know. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not trying to embellish anything. You're not trying to make assumptions. Don't assume what you think the other person
Is thinking.
is thinking or why they did what they did. Just write what you know are facts and write those down, because it can be a little bit of an anxiety-ridden roller coaster. You are going to be, like Cassie said, on a 3-way call with that other individual. You are going to have to hear their voice, and you are going to have to hear some of the things that they have to say, their side of the story, which may or may not shock you. So if you're not prepared for that, you may get caught up in what they're saying and try not to.
Yeah, and the judge is the third person, right?
The judge is the third
Yeah,
person. Yes.
yeah, okay.
You are on the phone with the judge, and then you are on the phone with your ex-employer. They can hear you. You can hear them.
And it's like do you swear in? You're sworn in. And
You are.
It's like
Yes.
yeah, right. I remember that.
I was not on video, but I mean, I was truthful. I sat there and held up my right hand when they told me to, and I swore the oath. Yes. So you are.
I've been on those phone calls
truth.
before, but I was fighting.
Yeah.
I was fighting for the denial. So
I've been on them as a manager also.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've been on both sides. So I get both sides for sure.
And
the
I'm
one
sure
the one that I truly remember was there were 3 of us in the room, and the person had gotten fired for stealing. They were stealing like pharmacy coupons where you could save like $20, $40 or whatever. So a customer would go through, and then they wouldn't hand the customer the coupon to save money on their next grocery shopping.
Word for those little little
Catalina
coupons. Those would
little
print
paper
off.
coupons. Yeah.
And then they would have them, and it would basically be free groceries the next week. And what they maybe didn't know is that every Catalina has that person's unique customer number on them. So that's how they were
I don't know
caught.
why people are so dumb and don't think that they'll get caught. Like, it was literally, I used to do the hiring classes.
Yeah.
And I was very adamant about being like, don't steal coupons. Don't take anything that's not fucking yours. If you didn't pay for it, if you didn't get it, if you didn't check out, I would put it into people before I check out at the self-check. I look at the coupon printer. Is there something there? If not, proceed. And whatever is there is yours.
Yep.
If there's something there, I would take it off. I would hold it up and rip it up and put it in the garbage or hand it to somebody or, you know, and be like, I did not take that coupon because what a stupid reason to lose your job.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what happened. And I had to be on that call with the judge. And it's a very serious conversation. I mean, that person came to fight, which is as they should, right?
Yeah.
And I
No, because they were stealing.
Okay, but
Well, see, and I was trying to be like, if you had a valid reason to fight, yes.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
No.
I mean, I would
stealing.
expect anybody to fight for money, no matter what you did. But
Right.
I remember this person, and her excuse was that she didn't know, even though we signed
And
meeting
like you
reports
said,
about it.
yeah.
She got told in hiring class
I mean, I think
about
we
it,
had
and-
meeting reports almost every month about it.
Yeah.
Or like at least every period,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then, like you said, the new
Because
hire,
somebody would get fired, and we'd be like, let's remind
Right.
everybody.
Somebody else comes
You
on
can't
and you have
take
to remind
coupons.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
you work in an industry that
Don't-
prints off the coupons, do not take the person's
Don't
coupons.
fucking take 'em.
Take your own.
Yeah.
So,
Give 'em
but
to the
she
next
kept
person.
stating
I know.
they're just coupons. They're just coupons. Yeah, that's still $20, $40. That's still money, even though
Yeah.
it's printed off as a coupon. So the judge was on the call. He would ask questions. I was not the one to speak. And as she was talking, I remember her saying, well, she just kind of rambled, like almost like you could tell she was guilty. Like she was kind of done fighting.
Yeah.
Like she said a couple little things, like, I don't think this, this is ridiculous. Whatever. And then she goes, and I don't even know why Meredith's in the room. And everybody looked at me and I'm like, meh, I'm just here. I don't know.
I was
I think I
told
was
to
her
be
manager
here,
at
so-
the time, but I was with
What
like
the hell?
Right.
So do you remember, did she get it?
I believe she lost.
Yeah.
I believe we won. She lost.
Yeah.
So
I mean, pure
But-
definition of misconduct right
Yeah.
there. You know,
Yeah.
you can't fight.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
literally.
So the one I had to sit in on as the manager, and we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, it was actually a woman that took a leave of absence for medical reasons. She started collecting Social Security or disability or something like that, and she was trying to collect unemployment. And so I didn't even really have to say anything. I was very nervous. Like,
oh yeah, me too.
why I had to take the call, I don't know. I feel like all the other managers were off that day, and they were like, here, Cass, you can do this. And I was like, what the fuck? I've never even done this for myself, But anyways, the judge was just like, wait. So you're collecting disability right now? And she's like, well, yeah. And he's like, you can't have unemployment too.
Nobody likes a double dipper.
Goodbye, everybody. This is over. Denied, And I was just like, meh, okay, that was easy.
I feel like that moment clicked too when I could hear in the judge's voice. One thing that this person said that I think really, and I'm not afraid to say it, put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was, well, I've never had to fire anybody before, But so I'm learning how to.
Oh,
do
so she
this.
admitted that you were fired, therefore you should collect unemployment.
And that she had no documentation
Right.
to prove of why I was
Right.
quote unquote fired.
Ugh, what a
Yeah.
tough situation.
And I think the judge at that point was like, wait, what?
So, and did he make the decision right there on the phone then?
No, I
Oh,
did have to
okay.
wait. I did
Mm-hmm.
have to wait, but I did get the letter like a couple days after. And actually, my certification date was 2 days after the phone call. So I certified, and then the day after I got paid. Like I got the
Yeah.
notification that I got paid, and I was like, I guess I won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
then
that
you got
was-
to collect from the time you filed, correct?
It was 12 weeks.
Oh.
I
yeah.
fought
Okay.
this for 12
Yeah.
weeks, and I got
Wow.
12 weeks of
Yeah.
back
Oh, you
pay.
did?
Good.
Oh,
I
okay.
did.
Yeah.
I got it all. It's all gone because, you know, bills.
Bills.
Well, you brought us some cheesecake.
I did because I am back
I
in
wanted to
action.
take a picture
Woot
of it.
woot. So,
Oh my gosh, look at these like cute little boxes.
so I made my individuals though.
Is this the OG?
That is the OG.
I got the OG.
But that's a whiskey caramel. And
Oh,
that's the homemade whiskey
shoot.
caramel instead of
So
a
it looks
regular
like a
caramel.
cheesecake with whiskey caramel and chocolate chip, mini chocolate chips
Yes,
on top.
yes.
Wow. And
Mine
what
like
did you
a puff
get?
pastry?
So yours has less sugar.
Thank you.
Oh
You're
my
welcome.
gosh.
So I did have to admit the main ingredient. And I will also admit that I did not try it yet. So please don't throw it at me if it's
I would never.
awful.
I'm going to take a picture of mine before I.
But it's a
dive
peanut
into
butter and
it.
jelly sandwich cheesecake.
Oh.
So you have exactly one serving of graham cracker with no
Yum.
sugar in the crust.
Wow.
You have the PB powder, that peanut butter powder, in the cheesecake batter, and then no sugar raspberry preserves. on top.
Wow.
Yes. So-
Amazing. Hold on. I'm
pretty
concentrating.
excited.
I'm concentrating on
Had to bring
taking a
some stamps, you know?
picture. Wait, I have a.
Because
PB&J.
I did try the completely sugar free, and
Not as good. No.
I don't like it. I know I'm biased, but I did grow up with a diabetic sugar free brother,
Oh,
so
yeah,
you know
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
used to the taste and stuff, but yeah, with the sour cream and cottage cheese, I couldn't do it. So I just changed my cheesecake recipe. So that is
Ooh,
my
looks
recipe, just kind of doctored up a little bit to get some of the sugar out of there. She
Yeah,
ate the
wow.
sugariest part first. She ate the
I ate the graham cracker.
I gotta-
I'm just
so
gonna
yeah.
pick it up and take a bite.
While they are trying that, I'm going to be working out of Fox Lake, and like I said before, expanding on everything to not just have cheesecake, but I do like to repurpose, and I'm having fun with my cheesecake batter. I've been
This
doing.
is really good.
Is it? You like it?
I like it.
Yeah. Nice.
It's just like perfect peanut butter, and then you got the jelly on top,
Mm-hmm.
and the crust is good.
Are you
And
just
it's
eating
not
yours with
too
your
sweet.
hands?
She is. I gave her a
Hells
fork,
yeah.
and she just picked that thing up, and she's getting in there. So it is probably
very good.
about the whole 4-inch is probably about. I'm gonna round up 20 grams of sugar,
That's perfect.
but a regular
I'm hoping mine's like
cheesecake
20,000 grams of sugar.
Yours is definitely.
it's definitely over 100.
yes.
Yes, because the main ingredient
Dinner.
alone has
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
Mine's
and my
really
drink
good.
only has 100 calories, so,
So
I'm
there,
good.
she's good. Well, and just so you guys know, I don't use regular cream cheese in my cheesecake anymore.
Why would you
I have
use?
upgraded. Oh God, what do you call that?
no French.
yeah,
No?
yeah,
No
that
French
one,
no?
that one. The
Yeah.
the 1/3 fat.
Oh.
It's
I didn't know
softer.
there was a difference. I always just thought it was cream cheese in a different
It is.
language.
It's a less fatty cream cheese.
Do you still
Is
have
it?
to shop for all your items, or do you have a vendor? Not yet. Okay.
Once I get the contract signed,
Yeah.
I will be able to. No, or actually, now that I have the LLC, because they want the FEIN, which I
Oh,
have
yes.
now. Mm-hmm. For those, because I've tried to sign up before. And
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
What? Who
Yeah.
are you, and what are you doing?
Well, you're legit. You're a legit
Yeah, so
business.
now that
you can have a
yes,
vendor. Great.
So,
Okay, so tell me more about these non-Pop Tarts that you're making.
oh,
Like what are they? So okay, I'm gonna admit this, and we even talked about this at work a few weeks ago. I've never had a Pop-Tart.
Oh,
What?
I know.
I don't think
Send
I'm
me
okay
Pop-Tarts.
with
I'll
this.
try
I'm
them
gonna
all.
send,
No.
I'm
Maybe
legit,
next
like,
week
your
we'll do a
life
Pop-Tart.
needs to be yes.
I feel like she would like the unfrosted ones
Yes, yes.
too. Lame.
I know.
Do we
well,
need to
see,
have
and
like a
that's where I'm gonna
Pop-Tart
start.
week?
Yeah.
we might
I'm gonna
have to.
come in and I'll grab a box of variety, like real Pop-Tarts. And I'll even be a brat and get the brand, the store brand from over
Yeah.
the cheaper one.
Yeah.
And then I'll bake you some of
Yeah.
mine.
We'll
and
have
be
to
like,
Clearly, yours
Compare.
are going to be better. I already know that.
We'll just say it now. They're gonna be better.
I mean,
gonna be better.
I mean, how many
preservatives,
flavors
ew.
of Pop-Tarts are there? There's a
Oh,
lot,
God.
Too
right? I
many.
feel like when
Too
you
many.
walk down the cereal aisle, there's quite a few.
They
So
got wild berry. They got s'mores. They got cherry, blueberry,
I
raspberry.
can't even imagine.
chocolate.
The chocolate
one.
fudge is usually my
chocolate
favorite.
fudge.
Yeah.
I like the s'mores
I
ones.
almost feel like I need to just keep going through life not having one, but then I'm also like, maybe I should.
See,
And
I'll
then you
make
put 'em
her
in the toaster?
They're not. No, I'd usually just eat them cold.
Yeah.
Oh.
I usually did too. It was
And they're
nice
not that
once in a while to
special.
have. Not,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think.
Brown
Yeah.
sugar. Brown sugar.
I was
ones.
gonna say I'm gonna make her brown sugar ones.
Yeah.
Wow, there are a lot of flavors: cherry, strawberry,
Yes.
onion. It wasn't
Yeah.
there one unfrosted. You said like unfrosted strawberry.
they
Is that
had
like their
fruity
number
ones
one?
that
They
were
had
unfrosted.
they
This
have
is disgusting.
unfrosted
Blueberry,
ones.
mixed
yeah.
berry. Isn't
Yeah.
there like I
Yeah.
don't know, somebody else's berry?
Somebody
So tell me how you make them without
I
giving
was
away
gonna
all your
say something.
secrets. Yeah.
It's just fresh puff pastry. I like the pie crust butter.
Oh, okay.
I think it gives more of a flakier, buttery. I don't want it crumbling too much, and more of a hand pie, I guess, as more of a toaster. The puff pastry tends to get softer
Yeah.
over time, and you can't really toast these because you can toast the ones that aren't frosted.
Okay.
You can rewarm the ones that aren't frosted, but I use like a typical cookie icing. So if you were to stick these in the toaster, you're gonna
Yeah.
ruin your toaster.
So
Maybe you need to give them with a side of frosting so you can toast them and then frost them and then eat them warm as you want them.
So do you have the whatever you call it that's inside? I don't know Pop Tart.
Fruit filling?
I
A
make
fruit fill is that on the inside or outside?
it's on the inside.
It
So
is-
I make
oh,
like
it
a
is the
little
same
square
then.
pocket. I use this cute little cookie cutter and I cut out a bunch of little squares and I fill it with either homemade apple pie, I have homemade blueberry, I have homemade pecan. The pecan one is really good.
So
I
are
would
they
like pecan.
fatter
I
than
want pecan.
Pecan pie
I want pecan.
filling. Yeah.
I think my mom's
Sorry, Meredith, none for you.
Yeah. So are they like fatter because of the filling,
They're
or is it?
literally only, I mean, yeah, it does have like a little,
little-
raised bump in
yeah,
the middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a traditional Pop-Tart where even still, no, those have a little,
They got a little.
little something there.
Yeah.
The apple pie ones definitely do because it's just a normal apple
Chunky.
pie.
Yeah,
it does
yeah.
look a little chunky.
So does that
monkey.
mean that the top that you put on top has to be a little bit bigger to go over, or
Yes.
they? Oh, okay. So you have
if
two
the filling
sizes.
is if it's apple, I do have
Apple
to
has
make
to have
the
two
top one
sizes.
because otherwise I'll rip it.
Wow.
Yeah, it crumbles and then all
Yeah.
the goodness comes out and then it burns.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I kind of like the
interesting.
burning parts though.
I
of
do
fruit
too.
filling.
I do too, actually, but
Yeah.
unfortunately,
I don't think that's a bad
perfection
thing.
is.
Nah. You know what? It shows that it's like made with love.
It's true. I wish
know?
everybody felt that way. though.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that you had like another year of like challenges, but I have a feeling when those kind of things happen, you just rise
a
above.
reason.
I
right?
just keep
There's
getting
always
pushed
a
to do
reason.
like the next step.
Yeah,
is really all
right.
that's been happening
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
I started this business.
And thanks
It's
for
just-
sharing, like, giving some advice, or not really advice, but like just sharing how to
Your
handle it and your
experience.
experience. And yeah, for sure. So I looked something up real quick.
What?
It's not a quiz. It's
Oh,
not a
I
quiz.
was gonna say,
But this is actually 10 reasons employees can get fired.
Oh.
Yeah.
oh, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. Can you start from 10 and work your way down to the
I
number
will.
one
Yeah,
reason?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell me 10 and I'll tell you what I think the next one is.
Okay, so so number 10, I'm not sure how these are, and this is from thebalancecareers.com, okay? So we're going to go to 10. Violating company policy.
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is what gets me is sometimes companies make policies that are illegal. Like not being allowed to discuss your wages with other people when federally that's illegal. So always remember, even if it's a company policy, and even if you sign a letter saying you agree it's a company policy, if it's federal law, you do not have to fucking follow it, and you can sue them, basically.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Is that all your TikToking, or you just knew that?
I know everything about slave wages.
And if you're looking at your employee contracts, make sure if you did sign a no compete clause, because
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't sign, or
no,
you did
there
sign
was no
a non-compete?
There was no
Right.
no compete clause.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Okay. Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of companies do.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think the next one would be? I feel like violating company policy is a blanket that they
Oh,
can
yeah.
use.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's violating, you signed that 5 years ago and that
Well,
goes
that's
into
just
your
like
record.
with the coupons.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know what I mean? That was a company policy.
You may have forgotten,
You
but
agreed
you still
to
signed
it.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that person was saying, because I think that meeting reports were brought up
Oh,
in her
yeah. Yeah.
meeting with the judge and you guys, and she said, well, I don't know, they just have assigned pieces of paper all the time. Well, that
Oh.
is your
That's your
responsibility
fault
to read
for not
it.
reading
And
it.
actually,
Didn't your parents raise
we-
you to never sign your name on something you don't
Exactly.
read
And
the fine
actually,
print?
I don't know about me. I'm sure you did, but I would always say, read through this. It's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
coupons, Catalinas, and then sign it. Like
Yeah.
that's how I would say it.
Right.
I wouldn't say here, just sign this.
Right.
You've already seen it before. I don't care if they worked there 20 years.
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things could have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah.
That's I did that with starting this podcast. Every single thing.
Yeah. You okay?
Cheesecake stuck in my throat.
That's why cheesecake
Don't knock it on the floor. Don't knock it on the floor.
I got a mini chocolate chip stuck in my throat.
Maybe I need a switch. No, because then there's not enough. That's why I use the minis. 'Cause
Anyways,
there's-
Yeah.
even when we were doing this, I would read through everything the lawyer sent us or everything anyone
Right.
sent us. Even now, if like the chamber sends us an email or something, I read through all of it just to be sure whatever
Yeah.
we're doing, we're doing it right. So I think that just comes with
I don't know what
More
the next one
responsible.
is. What's the next one?
have no
idea.
taking too much time off.
That's okay.
If you're always late, frequently taking sick days, or
I was
use
just
more
laughing.
than your allotment of vacation days, employers will notice.
But isn't that like I felt like at the store we worked at, that was impossible. Like they wouldn't let you. They watched that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was no way you were getting off more time than you deserved.
I think 99.9% of companies watch that shit.
Right.
I think it's right. I mean, in the server industry, that I think was a big problem. Like people calling in all
that's
the time
because
for
not
servers
shifts.
showing up.
don't get paid days off.
And that's no, but people
So they'd
would
be
abuse
like,
that, and that's
fuck it, I ain't going
right.
in.
But that's
They
still
need me.
valid
They're
to
not
get
gonna
fired.
fire me.
But
Well,
sometimes you did get fired.
I mean, back in the
because-
day, not
How
now.
many times? Okay, but all right. So how many times on a Sunday would the schedule go out and people wouldn't show up Monday morning? Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Saturday, because we went Sundays to Saturday.
Well, we always did 2 weeks out though.
Not all. I was
I'm
gonna
not
say
saying that
nobody's
the
perfect.
week never got changed. I would tell people take a picture of it.
I mean, I would always excuse people that would say, I think it just changed. I took a picture of it last
Yeah.
week and now you're telling me
Yeah.
I'm supposed to show up on Sunday.
Yeah.
I always made an exception for that.
Right.
Because
But did
retail's
they
ever
have the
changing.
picture?
They
Yeah.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's fair.
I would
That's
too.
fair. And
But-
because I did take a picture, but
Where we worked, it was supposed to be 2 weeks out.
And it wouldn't.
oh,
they would
trust me,
change
as a
it.
server, you would be waiting the day before. to
Oh,
get
yeah.
your
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of companies do that.
Yeah.
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 Sunday, we'd be working on
On
Sunday,
right.
And the girl would be there writing the schedule.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Do I work tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, I worked in a pretty small restaurant, so we all kind of had our set schedule.
Yeah.
You kind of had your days off
Yeah.
and stuff,
Right.
which that was nice. But yeah, still.
So
You
there's
still never know
exceptions to the rule.
but you still never know
Right.
because once
Somebody
in a while
might-
a
maybe-
party
yeah.
might come up or somebody had time requested off,
Right.
and you'll get that shock of like,
Right.
well, I didn't. I
do you
normally
mean I'm
have
supposed to be
Tuesdays
here on
off.
Tuesday?
I
Yeah.
didn't, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had Tuesdays off. Damn it! Like,
Yeah. So obviously there's exceptions,
I
but
think that was
basically
always
it's
my
the
day
ones that
off.
just don't show up.
Right.
Or
Right.
they say,
They're always
constantly-
late.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of jobs. Okay, so my job now is the first job I've ever had where I don't clock in.
Oh.
Right.
And I do
right.
kind of because I have to
Nice,
sign
isn't
into
it?
my apps. I have to, do this and do that. And it's, my app is watching me drive and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of do, but there's nobody going, Cass, you got there 2 minutes late, or you got there 10 minutes late.
You didn't start driving at 9 a.m. on the dot.
Yeah. Right. Which
your
I usually
activity
leave
does
early,
show that you're working, though.
Right.
But at where we used to work, it was a minute 58 seconds.
Yes, you could be late
Early,
a minute 58
early
seconds.
or late.
Yes.
They didn't want you clocking in early.
Right.
Don't clock in 15
That's
minutes
time
early.
clock abuse.
Right.
Because they don't want you going back later in the day saying, well, I clocked in 15 minutes early. I want to
need
leave at
15
4:15 or whatever.
Yeah. Even though sometimes I would just be like, yeah, they told me I could clock in early and leave early. And they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have
sneaky.
like 800 managers in the store. You'd be like, I don't fucking remember who I told. They told me to go ahead and do it now.
All right. So number 8, you think any thoughts of?
No, I can't think of anything.
Oh my gosh.
Stealing?
You said you were going to guess.
No, see, because
Okay.
I think number 1 is stealing.
I think number 1 is misconduct. Yeah.
Okay. So number 8 is using company property for personal business.
Who doesn't?
I was just gonna say,
Who doesn't take extra tape for the office tape dispenser? Who doesn't take an extra bottle of white out?
I got a story for that.
Who
When I
doesn't steal
started
toilet paper out of the bathroom?
gosh.
I don't, but anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say you're giving people all these
You really
ideas.
use that toilet
Oh
paper?
God, it's the worst toilet paper. I would
the
way
worst.
rather have my cotton.
And who has a ring big enough at home? I saw
They're
one
huge.
at Aldi. I was like, are you really selling?
It's the
rolled-
Charmin
Yes.
1 month roll.
They're selling the.
How do you
would
hang
do
that
that?
on your wall?
You don't.
You
It comes
don't.
with a
It comes with a
holder.
holder.
But all I could think is one pole, and that whole thing goes onto the floor. Now I don't want to use that toilet
And you
paper.
All you
have
need
a
is a cat.
giant
All you
roll.
need is a cat. You
Oh
just keep
God, I
going
have
and going
two
and
of them,
going.
and then
Yeah.
I've got like a whole football field
Yeah.
of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Shitty toilet paper.
Shitty toilet paper.
Shitty toilet.
They drag it through their litter box before they take it out around the house.
You wanted to use this?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, this one says most companies won't mind if you use the office copier for a personal document or send an occasional personal email from your work computer. I have never done that. Only one time I accidentally tried to log into a work call under the Clopen email, and I was like, nope. And thank goodness it wasn't going through. I'm like, what is going on? Why is it saying that I have to be admitted? Oh, it's the wrong email.
Oh my God! I wonder
But
how
that
many
wouldn't
people
be.
saw it.
There was only 2 people on the call, and the one was really cranky, and I'm pretty sure they weren't even looking at the.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
I don't have like a work laptop or anything, so I don't really have to worry about that.
I remember when I started this job, they said, don't worry about it. You can like download Netflix. Nothing's going to happen. They were being polite. In other words, like, you're not going to give it a virus. We're here for you. Never.
Yeah.
I have never looked up anything.
When I got the health department called on me the February before, kind of similar to that, because what I was doing, and I didn't think it was a problem, is customers I was making my cheesecake out of the house and I got to go back to serving after COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I was, talking about my business, and sometimes customers would come pick up. But I had a line and would say, you have to be coming here to patronize this establishment.
Oh, sure.
You can't come in here and just pay me for a cheesecake and run away.
Yeah.
Because that's, I'm like, but I was
Yeah.
skating
little
a
walking,
line.
yeah, a little bit of the
skating a
line, for
line
sure.
of that line of.
All right, here's your number 7.
Stealing.
Yep, stealing.
I can't believe
Number
that's not number
7?
1.
It's a
I would think that
fireable
would be number
offense. It's
Well,
illegal.
yeah.
It's fireable. Petty
There's no
theft, such
question.
as a box of pens or ream of paper, as well as stealing money
Fuck
or large
that.
items of equipment from the
I
company.
have to disagree with a box of pens or a ream of paper. Because when we worked at the store all the time, we would just like, God forbid, you couldn't order fucking office supplies in that place. And I would bring pens from home. Like I had my junk drawer. I emptied it probably 3 times of pens. Finally, I just started taking them off the shelf, and I would give them to the cash office and be like, write it off.
I could see that being more of an issue in like a mail setting, say like these copy places.
Yeah.
Oh,
where,
sure,
you
sure.
know, if you're taking one thing of ink and one ream of paper and you're
Oh,
doing
you mean like
it
at Staples or Office?
or yeah, I wasn't
get
gonna
you.
name names if
Oh,
I could,
that's
but
fine.
yeah, like Kinko's and like
I'm sure they
that,
watch
and
all that kind of
you're,
stuff and do inventory.
You know, trying to,
Yeah.
and you're doing it more habitually. Like
Yeah,
what you're
maybe.
saying is once in a while, yeah, you got to steal a roll of toilet paper because
guess
you
I
ran
would-
out. And you don't want to go
I
to
would-
the store.
I would only steal, and I'm doing air quotes because I would still ring it up and give the receipt, like cash it out.
right,
you know?
right.
But I would only steal for my job. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't steal
Oh,
and take
yeah,
it
to
home.
get your job done.
You
Right,
know?
got it,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
So it's really not stealing. It was
no.
being utilized. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
All right, number 6 is poor performance. I feel like this one's strange because you have many different managing styles and many different employees and team members.
Yes,
So
but
one says maybe not so poor, one maybe says, all right,
what is
perfect
the standard?
example.
What's the standard?
That's what I was going to say is what's the standard? Because
Right.
if you're not being discussed at your poor behavior
Right.
and you do not understand that you are doing
says-
quote unquote poor behavior.
Yeah, if you're not fulfilling the duties outlined in your job
There you go.
description,
Yeah.
you're receiving warnings about your performance.
Right.
Or if your work requires oversight or often needs to be redone, you're not a great investment to the company.
So then that's understandable,
Yeah.
I would
Boom,
say.
boom.
But what I
Boom,
was going to
makes
say, there
sense.
was someone that worked second shift grocery for me, and all he would do is clean the back room for me, which was so helpful. That was
Yeah.
my managing for him.
Yeah.
He hated being on the floor.
Yeah.
He hated helping customers. He just didn't like it. So as a manager, I said, you know what? Every time we get here for second shift, because I did a lot of second shifts the first couple years, I said it would be awesome if you could just clean the back room.
Because first shift left it like hell
Or
back
whoever,
there.
who knows how long it was sitting there, right? Of course, we're gonna blame first shift, second shift, whatever, and that's what
first
he would do. But if I wasn't managing him and he walked in and someone would say, "I need you to do that," he would say, "Well, actually, usually I just come back here and clean the back room," and they say, "Not today," and then he would poorly represent the company because he would hate being on the floor.
Right.
So that manager wanted certain things out of him. I wanted certain things out of him.
What
And then
you
what do you do?
expected out of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
then what do you do? Is it poor performance or is it just they're trying to show you that really they're good at this? I don't know. Right?
Yeah. No, that I can
I agree.
definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
All right, number 5, misconduct.
Number
All right.
5.
So there's a
broad
lot
term.
there's a lot that falls into this category, from sexual harassment to bullying to criminal misdemeanor. Unethical conduct, including lying, stealing, fraud, industrial espionage, also falls within this category. So there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Espionage.
That's why I was like, I didn't want to read the real lengthy
Yeah, but that's pretty
description,
much
but that's
what it
pretty
is.
much it.
Yeah.
And you have to prove malice was a big
Yes,
word. Like you have to
yes.
prove that it was done
Purposely.
on purpose.
Yeah, purposely. Number 4 is insubordination. You don't have to say yes to all the requests or always agreeing with your manager.
But you can't tell them to fuck off.
Yeah,
either.
but you basically, if you constantly refuse, and I hate this, they say to obey orders. I hate that. How about follow standards or whatever? We'll just say that.
obey my orders.
Yeah, I don't like that they wrote that in
Peon.
there, but everybody understands it.
Because you're my slave.
Oh, man. You've said that like 3 times in this episode.
Maybe that should be the name.
Number 3, falsifying company records.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Now, do you have an example? Because I can't think of one.
I would say maybe lying on your inventory so you get your bonus.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
okay.
it has to do something with some kind of report.
Yeah, any kind of
that
reporting. Okay.
You're supposed to reach I'm just imagining you're supposed to reach a certain percentage
yeah.
of either it be stolen items. So that goes with inventory, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
for
you know,
sure.
that's when you figure out your loss of profit.
Yeah.
Which every store I know has.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, number 2, drug or alcohol possession at
Meh.
work. So being intoxicated or taking drugs in the workplace will interfere with your on-the-job performance, and with some drugs may be illegal as well. So go ahead.
I feel like that's very hard to prove.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
basically have to get the person to admit that they've been using drugs or drinking
No
while
one
on the
ever
clock.
admits it.
No,
No, why would
they'll
would
just
you?
say, "Oh, well, I was drinking last night.
Right.
I smell like alcohol because I was drinking last night."
Well, and that's
"Oh,
why
my
I think
eyes
the
are red
marijuana
because
thing is
I'm tired."
unfair because you could have partied the weekend before and you're still going to test
Yeah.
positive for
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
marijuana that day.
So we'll have to ask our friend in LP, but I think you have to see consumption.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Basic
Yeah.
to like fire them for it. Yes. Otherwise, you have to get them to admit it.
Like you
Or-
kind of walk past their car and they're taking like a,
Yeah.
a
swig of something,
yeah.
or they're taking a
and
hit
even
off
if they do admit it, most places have to offer counseling.
Yeah, where they could
before
still
they
come back
fire
to,
you.
and they still
Yeah.
can come back to their job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Any
I'm-
guesses?
I'm
Any-
actually-
Sleeping with your boss.
Ooh. That would fall
Everybody
under
just
sexual
got
harassment.
Okay.
That would fall under sexual harassment.
50% of the people listening just lost their jobs.
Wah, wah, wah. If you need any help with your unemployment, let me know. I'm really. I don't know what number 1 is because I really thought it would have been misconduct because it's such an umbrella, like you were saying.
I think it happened a lot in the back room with the forklift.
Ooh, accidents.
Ooh, OSHA.
Damaging company property.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yep.
So not necessarily OSHA, but damaging.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's one thing if you had one mishap with the forklift,
If
but
you had
then you
one
got to go take a
mishap of
drug
dropping
test.
a
You do.
cake.
You do.
You do. Right.
You know? Yeah.
I
don't
think
know.
if you lost the handhelds too.
Oh, the
If
handhelds.
you were the last
because-
one logged into the handheld,
because they were like $500. So it
yeah,
was
so you
company
would have to go
property
get a
of
drug
over
test as well,
$500,
and it
yeah.
was like loss of company property.
Yes.
So you'd have to
See,
get a
that
drug
would
test.
terrify me because as a
Yes.
server, I have left so many times with checkbook, like, the
Yeah.
check presenters
Yeah.
and like towels.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when I was a bartender, I'd have like a
Oh, yeah.
bar
I
towel
would just,
in my
you
back
know what?
pocket.
I would just
and-
take them home and wash them and I'd bring them back.
Oh, I did too.
I'd be like,
but
"Here's
that's what I'm
towels that
saying. If
took
I
all last
accidentally
week."
got, or if I got fired or
Yeah.
written up for taking, oh my God, I'd cry.
Yeah.
So
I know
this is
where I work now that you
The
have to sign it
phone.
out.
I've taken the phone home.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Do you
Me too.
remember when we had to be like in charge of the store on certain days and you had
Yes.
all the keys to
Yes.
everywhere?
Yes.
I wonder how many times someone has taken the keys home.
I know there is.
Because you're trying to protect them and you
'Cause
put
it's-
them in a safe place.
Right.
They're in your pocket.
Right.
You know they're
You
there,
always
and
have to
then-
carry them.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be in my car. I'd be driving home. I'm like, oh my God, I got the keys.
Yeah.
And you have to drive back. Do you remember that?
We did have an extra
awful.
set. There was an extra set of
Yeah,
those
but
keys.
you don't want somebody being
Right.
like, oh, took-
Yeah.
Right.
she took
And
the
people,
keys again.
I remember that there was like a couple people that would always take them
Yeah.
home. Always.
Yeah.
Like they would just forget.
I don't know how because those things were so damn heavy.
There
They
were
would
so
pull
many.
my pants down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be
got
walking
a
out to my
freaking
car, like-
cordless phone in my back pocket
No.
with my
Yeah.
skinny jeans.
Yeah.
That thing falls over if I bend down a little
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But I still went home with it in my pocket.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad it didn't ring when it could just work from home.
Ring. Thank you for calling so and so.
Here's the takeout order. I'm just gonna message it to the
Yeah.
you could actually do that now. I was job hunting. So
Yeah, of course.
quick sidebar with job hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can actually be a carryout or like
a
a
call
takeout.
center?
There's call centers now.
Stop.
Their chances are you're not speaking to the person inside anymore.
Oh, no kidding.
It's somebody sitting at home on their laptop taking your order, and
That's
it gets
so
transferred.
weird.
Like they're
Person.
on the online.
Yes,
Like Olive Garden or something.
Yeah.
Why would they
Yes.
do that?
But I think it started with COVID.
I'm gonna end with this.
I
So
don't
I
think
watched.
$15 an hour is very much.
Sorry, it comes from me.
It's because you're used to making $2.75
I was
an
gonna
hour.
say I'm
plus
used to
tips.
making $4 an hour at last. So yeah,
I'm gonna end with this story.
Okay.
Speaking of searching for jobs.
yeah.
So I'm off of
There we go.
Netflix now. I'm watching Hulu because Julia has an account, and there's an
but
OnlyFans
you-
documentary.
Stop.
I
on
haven't
there.
watched it yet, but yes, there is.
Yes, there's
I
an
haven't seen
OnlyFans
that yet.
documentary, and I was actually very interested in it because,
Of course you were.
because not for the sexual nature,
But come on, that's the
but
craziness
to
of it
listen
this
to
day.
people's backgrounds, the maybe like some bad luck they've had, or they just decided that they had this goal in mind. Someone wanted a new car, somebody wanted, sustainability. They just were sick of working jobs that didn't pay.
Can we
and
just
so
do our feet?
there's a bunch. It's very
I'm gonna let her
saturated
finish
now.
this-
That's what
this
they
story.
say. It's very saturated. But they're doing what they can, and that's that. And my whole point is, in 2020, when everyone started staying home, was their biggest spike
Yeah.
500%.
I'm sure.
Year over year.
Because people had to
yeah.
think of how to make money to keep the roof over their
and
head.
80% of the creators keep the money. 20% goes to OnlyFans. It's 20-80.
So
I thought that was all
that's-
very interesting stuff.
That's
If-
not bad. I
if
mean,
anybody-
if you look at Etsy nowadays,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Well,
bigger
they
than that
charge
now.
you like per picture.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody is on TikTok and they follow Two Turnt Tony, and he's the duck guy, and he started an OnlyFans, I think, probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
He's already paid off his sister's tuition, and he just paid his dad to retire.
People do what they need to do.
I was joking
He's like,
around
"Here,
with my
Dad."
friend actually that I was just gonna bake different flavored cheesecakes, like the samples, and let her just take a video of her sticking her foot
Oh my god!
or like squishing it with her butt,
What about
just
those
to get
people?
because people will
do it. Who cares?
people will pay for that shit.
What about the people
And it
that
won't
smush
be.
the bread
She's not
with their
gonna be
face?
naked. She's not gonna.
Yeah. There's
But-
people on there that do not show. They
Anything.
did interview someone and he says it's I don't remember what word he used,
I
but
get
he
what you're
doesn't
saying,
show
yeah.
full.
Can I ask you something,
nudity.
Katie?
Yeah.
Is that why you only have one foot toes painted?
Yeah, why do you only have the left side?
You had to bring that up.
Is it because you're righty?
It is because I'm righty and I tend to fall asleep while it's dry.
She's got her left hand and you
and
just
my left.
she's got only her left side painted.
I thought maybe that was
Why
the
did
foot
you
you were
have to bring
sticking in the
And she
cheesecake.
said it the minute she walked in. She's like,
Because I had to
"Clearly
take off my shoes and I was like, shit.
your left hand is painted and her left foot is painted.
Yes.
That's it. Her left
Yes.
toes. That is so funny.
I fell asleep while they were trying.
Don't
and
lie.
Then I
Don't
get
lie.
frustrated because then I wake up and then my left side is ruined. So what ends up happening is I just take it off.
It's like blanket imprint on it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I know. I've done that before
Why
too.
doesn't it ever dry? We're like in 2022.
Because
I
I
know,
don't
I know.
buy new nail polish.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
why. Then you got to buy
That's
the new
why.
stuff.
You got to get the instant.
My nail
Insta
polish
dry.
is probably from like 2010.
Yeah.
How
don't
is it
do
not
that.
just like goopy?
It is. It's
is?
disgusting, and that's why
Just
I
add a drop of
only
acetone
paint
to
the
it.
left
Oh, that's
side.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I've tried; it doesn't work.
Well, then it's definitely
I
too
know.
old. It's time
Throw
for
it
some.
away.
Now
Next
you
time
know
she
why I
comes on,
only
we're gonna have a
paint
bunch
the
of nail
left
polish
We'll
for
have
her.
nail polish.
Now you know why I only paint the left side because I can never get it to dry.
I'm gonna get you some of that spray too that you like.
The setting
and it makes
spray,
it
yeah.
dry fast.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you for having
Katie.
me again.
Yay!
The cheesecake was freaking delicious.
Oh my gosh,
I
so
think
good.
This is one you should do for like a low
You
carb.
liked it?
A low carb option.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I ate the whole thing.
It is a little
so.
bit smaller. So yeah, it's way less sugar. It's
Where-
not sugar free,
Delicious.
but way less sugar.
Remind
delicious.
everyone where they can find you, please.
On Facebook at facebook.com, Katie's Cheesecakes.
And it's KT.
Yes, it's KT''S Cheesecakes LLC. And then my website is on there as well. It's a long one, so
Yeah,
the link
it's-
is right. The
yeah.
link is right on the top of the page for
Perfect.
the website.
Perfect. Go
It's
follow her. Go see all her fun
updated.
creations.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having
Thank
me
you.
again.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Bye,
Let's
guys.
Bye. Talk to you next week.
Make that money.
This podcast is brought to you by NameTag Productions, LLC. Entire podcast, unless otherwise stated, written by the hosts. Drums, written and performed by my son Steven. The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. If we have to be all in this together, we might as well make it fun.